Hey folks, it's Roflux here with another real deal in the field, and today I'm with Ben Davis. Mate, how are you?
Good, mate.
Got a cracking deal that's sitting here. Mate, firstly, we're in the suburb of Bulimba, which is in Brisbane, more affluent area. You found this opportunity with an existing DA on it.
Correct.
Mate, what was the existing DA that was sitting here?
So the existing DA had 3 townhouses at the back and a renovation with a subdivision at the front.
Okay, so that's a renovation of this old
Correct.
Queenslander that's sitting here.
Yep.
But you saw a completely different opportunity. I guess that's a relatively high-end product in a relatively high-end area. You saw a different opportunity completely. What was the opportunity you saw?
So with that, we looked at it and looked at a number of different exit strategies and sort of looked at sort of the highest and best use and realised that the DA that was actually on the parcel of land wasn't actually highest and best use. So in doing the numbers on it, it actually worked out to be better given sort of what we have around us with sort of, we have Housing Commission on the left-hand side and then also at the rear.
Yep.
So then in doing all the numbers and what have you with it, we thought it would really actually work with an NDIS element.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so effectively, you're in an affluent area, but because your next door neighbours are not affluent, it's kind of going to drag your numbers down. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So NDIS, mate, that's a bit of a different play for most people out there. So tell people, firstly, what is NDIS? It's a National Disability Incentive Scheme, I think.
Insurance scheme.
Insurance scheme, there you go.
Yep. Yeah, so National Disability Insurance Scheme. So it's for everybody that has a massive disability. So this particular development is for high physical support. There's 4 units, an overnight accommodation and a therapy room.
Yeah, so now because we're looking after, I guess that demographic, the government actually pays the rent for these, so it's a fixed known outcome with regards to the rent. There's 4 different kinds of categories with regards to the level of disability. So depending upon what you've chosen, so you've chosen high physical needs.
Yeah, HPS.
Yep. So they're, I guess, people that are going to need a little bit of support to get in and out of bathrooms,
with hoists and so forth.
Hoists and so it's not your standard everyday run-of-the-mill house. So you've had to put a whole bunch of extra engineering in. Yeah.
Electrical, hoists. Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. So we're going to go take a look at that in a sec. But there are elements of this that I want everybody out there to pick up. So firstly, the existing house, I guess an old character protected Queenslander.
Correct. Yeah, and it was in the right location and it just required a bit of a cosmetic renovation.
Yep. So effectively, what you've done is you've picked up the property. You've done a 1:2 subdivision, so you've carved out that old Queenslander onto its own property and done the reno on it.
Correct.
And you're living in that as your PPR.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And then so we've done that, and then we've used the equity in the back parcel of land to put into the construction loan.
Yeah, and effectively by doing the reno up front, even though it's on a smaller piece of land, you've lifted the value up, and the existing house is probably worth pretty much what you paid for the entire property in the first place.
Precisely.
Which means free block of land out the front, out the back.
Exactly.
Folks. Yes. So we're going to go and check out these NDIS buildings, show you some of the things that are a little bit different in these compared to other products out there. And there's a cracking view at the top, mate. So
there is.
So we're going to go have a look. See you in a sec, folks. Folks, welcome back. Here we are on the ground floor. This is the overnight care accommodation.
Correct.
I guess being NDIS and high physical needs, the likelihood of them actually needing support in the middle of the night is pretty high. So this is a mandatory requirement of NDIS of this calibre.
Correct. So it's an OOA, an overnight accommodation for the carer throughout the building.
Yeah. And so because this is going to be manned 24/7, I guess somebody might do shift work in here. So one person might do the morning shift, one person might do the afternoon shift, but they've got somewhere to stay at all times.
Correct.
There's also on the other side, a therapy room, so they can come down and actually get treatments and therapies and that sort of thing all the time. So
precisely.
Yep. And then over here, we're just going to show you some of the lifts. Now, lifts in a building aren't that big a deal, but we've only got 4 apartments here, and yet we've got 2 lifts, mate. So why do we go with 2 lifts?
So we went with 2 lifts, ultimately because, look, if you get a large lift, it creates a larger lift pit, and then there's parameters around that you need to sort of build around, which ultimately costs more. So given the fact that it's just 3 stories, we wanted to have the 2 lifts to be able to get the participants out quicker.
Yeah. And also, I guess, because of participants coming and going, being able to have, and because they're needing larger lifts in order to get wheelchairs and things like that in, I guess having 2 slightly larger lifts are probably the right thing to do. So
absolutely,
well done. We're going to go upstairs and check out one of the apartments, and also the killer view that these guys have got. Okay, folks, here we are inside one of the participants' bedrooms, and wanted to point out a couple of little things that are a little bit different to most buildings that you'd actually do, I guess, from a OH&S and standards perspective to try and help, I guess, the disabled people here. Because it's high physical needs, there's some specifics that we need to worry about them, but there's some just general characteristics that we need to worry about. So, for example, behind us, super wide doorway. So that allows people with wheelchairs and things like that to be able to navigate in and out, have turning circles, etc. But there's a couple of other ones that you actually ran afoul of one with the windows. So tell me around about the window one.
So with the windows, all of your window heights for your for your window handles need to be within 9 and 1100. If they're outside that, ultimately they will fail, and then you'll have to replace them.
Yeah, so that's low enough that if you can stand, you can reach it, and high enough that if you're in a wheelchair, that it's not out of reach.
Correct.
It's kind of right in that middle ground. And similarly, I guess there's a little trick with the door handles and the light switches.
Yes, so with all of the door handles and the light switches, they all need to be at the same height, so much that when someone goes to grab the actual door handle, and someone with vision impaired, that they understand that that light switch is at the same height, if that makes sense.
And lastly, mate, this is high physical needs. So you mentioned downstairs, I guess, a hoist. So getting them in and out of bed and that sort of thing. So you've got all the hoists.
Yeah, so you have all of the hoist points in here. You'll see them, and then they go around and actually go in and then take you in
So come on in, folks. So they've got to come in and around and pivot in so they can actually get into the shower point.
Correct.
Yep. And there's got to be, I guess, the other trick that you nearly fell afoul of, but you caught halfway through, the actual size of the room, mate.
Yeah, so there's very particular and very measurement, I suppose, down to the millimetre. We were out, if we would have carried out as per the architect's design, we actually wouldn't have been compliant from the edge of the basin through to the end of the wall here. You have to be 1900.
Lots of physical room so people, so it's not just, I guess, the participant, but also the carers and that sort of thing can navigate around.
Correct.
And that sort of thing. So, mate, super interesting. We're going to see the actual full Real Deal presentation in one of our upcoming meetups, so can't wait to see that, mate. It's nearly done. We didn't show everybody the view. I guess this is, got some spectacular views of the river and also the city and that sort of thing, but these guys can imagine it. We can show them at the final Real Deal event, I guess at one of the upcoming Brisbane events.
Absolutely.
But we run these events in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne and Adelaide, folks. So if you want to see Ben's full story, either turn up in person or dial in just by clicking on the links below. Mate, till then.
Thank you. Cheers, Rob.
Been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
See you, folks.
Catch ya.